Hey, my name is Zhang, and where am I from? Well, I've lived in all these places. I've lived in New York, I've lived in California, I've lived in China, and I'm new to Atlanta. So I've been all over, and I received my bachelor's in my own major, which was called Art, Content, and Audience at Stanford University. And that's where I got a lot of my inspiration and mentorship in doing socially conscious work that are solutions to gender and race issues. In terms of processes, I think working with a polyester plate or a pronto plate process has really helped me flip back and forth between digital media and traditional media, because printmaking used to be with these huge metal presses that were clunky, and now printmaking is with a digital plotter, inkjet that everyone has at home, and you click something and it just like magically appears. But in this process, I'm able to use photographs and use digital processes, but then also use ink and use traditional processes. And what the digital gives me is, well, photography is kind of a new introduction to printmaking. But then what the analog gives me is the dirtiness, like the breakdowns in the image, the artifacts that make it look handmade and make it look real. Monoprinting is kind of like painting with ink. And some people say, well, why would you paint with ink? Why don't you just paint with paint? And what you'll see about this process is the way that the printmaker's ink reacts to the plexiglass. So this is a sheet of plexiglass, and I've already started painting a little bit. But when you paint on plexi, the ink will kind of slide and move in a way that it wouldn't on paper. So this is how I'm doing all of the spiders in my project. What I also really like about monoprinting is the erasure, or the negative. So if you take a little map board and you can cut out parts of the image. And this really brings it to life, because the direction of the hairs is kind of the direction of the motion of the spider, and it gives the spider form. So there's a lot of room for error, and I think that's the best part of art, but especially with printmaking, you never quite know how it's going to turn out. Because this is also going to print in reverse, you have an idea of what this looks like now, but then you're going to turn it. Basically, you're going to turn it over to print, and that's what it'll look like after it prints. So you have this kind of one rhythm being built, and then you print it, and it's the reverse, and it looks completely different than what you thought. So you roll the plate under this heavy drum. It's going to squish everything together. So, let's see. That's great. I had no idea that it would look like this. I had no idea that this splotch would become this splotch. And you'll see, some of the places that we cut out with mat board are very, very thin kind of hairline. And then they look like little spines. And then here, these are the places that we kind of erased with Q-tip, and they're much thicker, hardier line. So there's a lot of variation that you can get with monoprinting. This project is about representation. It's like women have, have bared men's ideas of how women should look for so many centuries. It's actually quite boring, because all I hear in the media is what men think women should look like, what kind of figure men prefer in their women. And I'm just tired of it. As an artist, I'm always looking for the new, the next new thing, the innovative. And I think what I bring to the dialogue is, what do women want in men? Because I don't really care, what men want in me. I really care about what men have to offer me as a woman and what they add to my life. So in the Juba Spider project, I'm really talking about a kind of masculinity that's not afraid of femininity and a kind of sexuality that's not afraid of homosexuality. The Juba Spider thing happened in Oakland, California when I was living out there, and I met Juba through a clown friend of mine. There was a period in my life where I was living with all of these clowns, and they knew just the greatest people. Juba is a leader in the homo hop, or the homosexual hip-hop movement. He doesn't really hide anything about loving men and being really positive about his homosexuality. As I was interviewing Juba, he really wanted this kind of rough feel, and so we chose the Dynamite Factory, not knowing what to expect at all. But we got to the factory, and it's this kind of desolate, toxic place that was abandoned years ago, and so you can imagine all the harsh chemicals and hard metals that are in the soil and corroding the pipes. But we were walking around, and Juba runs into this spider. It was like dangling right in front of him. So he started playing with its silk and wrapping the silk around his finger and looking at where the spider would drift depending on where he moved his fingers. And he was just really engrossed in it. It felt like I wasn't even there when I was shooting the photos. And I think it was so emblematic of the kind of gentleness that I love in men, and I think make me really respect their strength. So we did this shoot, and the Atlanta Printmaker studio brought me here for the Emerging Artist Residency, and I started making this work. This is Jenny Zhang, and I think insects are absolutely gorgeous. Thanks.